time to get back to streaming. I have to finish this design doc today and get it shipped, as it were. So I'll be messing around on stream with finishing touches of this design doc and kind of seeing what comes out of the woodwork, you know, in terms of bugs and issues. So I'll just kind of follow my nose specifically, but I'll stream for a little bit, and anything that doesn't get done on the stream I'll have to do tonight as I finish up work. So that's all there is to it. I've got vacation brain problems again, you know. We had Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday, or the holiday for it anyway. So that means it's Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday for me, so blah, blah, blah. Anyway, those are all excuses for me being a little lost, but that's all okay. Nothing wrong with getting started in a nice casual way. Yeah. That's all I've really got to say. Okay, so what I would like to do is start with the blaringly obvious thing here. There's a big, massive number 5 here, right over this view, which we don't, which I don't need. So what I'm gonna do is head over to the document here and do myself a tiny favor and just hide this for now. And what I'm going to do is focus on single part views one at a time. So on my screen here I have the plate, the hex plate view, and this giant text element that's supposed to be the large radius dimension. So what I want to do first is get that scaled and translated down to a nice position. So that's what I'll focus on first. Start simple. Okay, so we've got the plate front here, and this here is the block that is defining the text bit. And I did look, the way I have built the text element translate and rotate functions are, in my humble opinion, not good enough. They use a bit of a hacked approach. So what I want to do later is fix that text element rendering to make it a little more useful for positioning text in the SVG. But for right now, I'm gonna wrap the text element itself in a group tag and just translate the group tag. Because I do think that'll be a little bit better. It'll look a little nicer. Although now, oh, I forgot to switch the namespace. Let's go here. Okay. So svg/scale takes the scale argument and the elements it's going to scale. So I have to write it like this: scale 0.05, say, and then scale a text element. That's going to be one thing. Yes. So that's all a group. And I'll do this like that. That's fine. Right, so this group is threaded through. I can delete this scale element here, and now it's just a translate. Doesn't need to be rotated either. It's actually just going to be a translate. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, we're in the ballpark here. Now what I have to check is if the scale, so one thing, this text is linked to this here, so it can change. And see, here's a problem. When the value has a different number of characters in it, the text's position hops around, so that is no good. Which makes me a little bit concerned about how to approach this. Right, so I have to have a look at SVG element here. Shapes the text function has these magic numbers in it, and this is a thing I don't love about my approach here. So there's a lot of things that I don't like about this approach, so I have to think about how to fix it. I also don't even know if I have a scale text element. Yes, I do. Not sure if that'll make a difference. I don't think it will. Yeah, no, that's nothing. So the reason it's hopping around is related to its position being calculated based on the number of characters in the in the element itself. And the reason it's hopping around so far is related to the fact that its scale let's see for a second. Oh, see, I'm also once again there's a bunch of useless scale transforms here, all bundling together based on assumptions and how I did all this. Yeah, a lot of things adding a little bit of redundancy that I don't like here. So let me instead think of some other way to do this. What I could do is draw something else. I'm going to try something. I'm going to get rid of the text. We'll just make it gone for... Actually, let me scratch that idea for 1 second. Let's, what I'm going to do is get rid of the G tag since it's not helping my case anyway. Scale, we're going to keep 0.05 like this, but the text is, I have to move it now. Okay, so I'm going to thread the text element through these transforms. This is the text element through those two transforms, and instead of this plate R inches, it's just going to be the text R. Okay, so that is somewhere. See, this is no good. This is completely unintuitive as to where it is, and I don't think it's smart that I've done it that way. It's not good. Not clever at all, just a problem. See, like, what's happening? Where is it even showing up? No good. No good at all. Although I wonder if it's related to the order of operations here. Seems not. First of all, is it even working? Zero, zero, oops. Okay, R, nice big R. Right, so part of how I did the scale thing for text is what I originally wanted was it to have an assumed sort of bounding box around it, and that it would scale relative to the center of that bounding box. And I must have done something wrong because it's clearly not doing that. It's scaling as if the center point is somewhere else entirely, and I don't have the intuition anymore for why that is. So I have to fix it, obviously. 0.05. Oh, let's also go -5 here. Hey, there we go. We're somewhere here. Okay, so I kind of want it to be in the position like here, maybe. Kind of there. Bit of a different spot. But now what I want to check for a minute is, okay, that's kind of fine. Plate thickness, you can't see it, but it's changing, and that's changing. And zoom nicely moves, yeah, okay, so that all works nicely, right? That's looking pretty good. This will also not, this is technically different. Okay, so that's fine. Basically what I'm going to do is kind of draw a little dimension line on there, but instead of putting a changing number to it, I'm just going to put the label R to it so that you can read R, and R is the same here. In a perfect world, I would have the code working so that it would just display the number properly on there. That way you could just print a drawing from it directly and it would work all fine. But maybe I can get that working at some other point, but for right now it is not exactly helping me out. So let's try find the approximate middle. Four and a half, oops. 4.5. Yeah, that looks okay. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna try is something a little weird, I think, but it's going to be, let's see. If I have a look here at, if I do forge/line from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, for example, right, that produces, if I do keys from that, it gives me, yeah, so it gives me a shape object that I can render through the curve rendering function here. So I can use that, I think, to kind of make a dimension object, and then I could maybe manipulate that in 3D. Oh, Mike, hey, hello. How's everything going? Things are going pretty well with me. How are they with you? Hope you're doing okay. Just in that Monday headspace, even though it's Tuesday, it was a long weekend, right? There's a Canadian Thanksgiving to blame for that. I use blame loosely here, of course. Doing well, taking a bit of a longer lunch break. You put in a long day yesterday. Hey, take a break, man, you know? Nothing wrong with taking breaks. I think they're important. Long day yesterday? Was it like a long debugging session or something? Didn't know Canadian Thanksgiving was yesterday. Yeah, we've got it a little bit earlier than in America, and to be completely honest, I don't know what traditions related to Thanksgiving or similar holidays are in other countries, so I cannot speak with any authority on on other countries. Yeah, so that's why I wasn't streaming yesterday, actually. You were working on a new feature for work, been painful, trying to fit square peg in a round hole. Man, sorry to hear that. That's it's a rough go sometimes. Well, it's, yeah, just hope you can, I hope you can solve the problems in a nice way and treat yourself with kindness and respect while you do it, you know? So keep up the good work, I guess, is what I would say if I were a boss, but yeah, man, it sucks. Good luck. Do you think, is it like a useful feature, but it's just there's a lot of implementation struggles around it, or is it a feature that is maybe not as necessary, and then it's a bit of a pain in that way? Like, is it painful from a technical perspective or from a human perspective, I guess, is a more succinct way of asking my question. Okay, I'm totally unimpressed with my past self for how I did this, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for me. But live and learn. What I would like to see is if I can kind of make up a little dimension drawing function or something like that. Basically, you want a referring user's code to be associated when a new user registers via that invite, but the platform was not designed for it. So now there's a bunch of conditionals checking for the feature. Doesn't look pretty, but it's due for an overhaul anyway. Oh, well, so in that case, it's kind of a bit of a silver lining kind of thing, I guess. One thing that's always tough with code that's used in the real world, as it were, is that there's almost always going to be a spot or two that are sort of like, we put duct tape here, but it turns out that people love using this part that's duct taped on, and suddenly this duct tape is, you know, doing its best to hold everything together, and it can get wild pretty quickly. But at least it's in an area that you recognize is due for some kind of overhaul anyway, so kind of bite the bullet and get it done at some point maybe. Anyway, sounds like a lot of hard work. I wish you the best with that. Unless it's finished already, in which case good job. Okay. Let's invent. Well, let's not invent anything. Let's do define. No, let's. What I want to. Very first thing I want to do is def a as line 000 to 10 10 10, and I just want to make sure that this renders without any real issues, and I believe that it should. So what I can do actually here is do f/union between the plate part here and a, and I should wrapping it up, or just wrapped it up to send for testing. Hey, nice work. Nice work. I'm sure that's a bit of a relief on your end, eh? Okay, so lucky me, this line function actually does render the way I would have expected, which is really nice, you know? It's really satisfying when code works in the way that you want it to. So with that, I can make a sort of beginner's pass, beginner's first dimension function, maybe. Things get interesting a little bit here. Is it smart to treat a dimension as if it were a 3D thing in the environment directly? So maybe I should be a little precise with myself here. Dimensions, CAD. What I mean when I say dimension is stuff like this. These line, like they have length values most often. Sometimes they have a radius call out, and they have lines and arrows, and so they are like visually represent a length of something, and they're really visually understood in all kinds of industries. Like that's pretty clear that, oh, that's a length value and stuff like that. So they do correlate directly with the shape of the object, and you can't just render them nowhere. They have to be linked to their position in the world, but they're not objects, they're just visual details. So I'm just kind of confusing myself trying to figure out the smart way to do this. I think maybe I'm overthinking it. If I just go with the first idea I had, I can test it out and change it as I go. This is what I do like though. You see, this is, so an isometric view projects the dimension kind of along, it's as if it's on a plane in the space as well. I'm mostly just talking to myself, trying to justify my thinking. I hope that's all right. So the reason I'm a little hesitant is just because, so I can draw the lines, no problem, but I don't like the arrow idea is a spot where I might have a how do I say it? Like I'm going to back up one step here. Fundamentally, what I'm wondering is, should I have dimensions as a concept in the Forge library, so in the 3D modeling area, like 3D modeling library, or should it be a level or two up in the library where I actually do the rendering stuff? Because in a pure data sense, I don't really need a dimension for a line. I can calculate it from the 3D data directly. But it's basically a method of displaying specific calculated data to a reader. So it's almost as if it is more just a function in the render side of things. But if I'm using the 3D library to draw it directly, then it's kind of there. So this is why I'm struggling. But to make a decision and just move on, what I'm going to do today is just make a kind of prototype dimension drawing and just treat it as if it were an object in the scene, and that's going to be fine for this, because this document, I don't need all the advanced features I am imagining in my head. I just need to make something that works visually, so that'll be good enough for this document. That's my decision. Okay, so with that, I now need to determine what to do next. So let me think about that. Well, okay. Let me go back to the front view here. I also realized that the front view is actually a bit of a misnomer. Okay. So this line, ooh. Why is that not pointing? I expected it to point this way, but it's not, because I have done a... here's why. I've done a union with the line object and the plate and then rotated it by 30 degrees around the z-axis. So what I should do instead, if I do not want to apply the rotation to the line object, is actually take this union out here and apply it after I've transformed the plate. Right, so I would have to do it this way: f/union this shape with this. And I really am abusing, there we go, so that's kind of working, is the, I'm abusing this union function. Because I have not yet made up a concept of like a true assembly or like a scene. I'm just unioning everything to kind of treat every single thing union together into a single map, which for rendering out wireframes and stuff for this little project works just fine, but that is not really an acceptable approach for anything that might have actual, you know, need to differentiate parts. So something as simple as showing a bolt with a washer and a lock nut on the end, for example, you can't union those together because they could be made of different parts, they could have different colors and stuff like that. So unioning it it's not good enough. A union is more like if you weld two metal pieces together, you could make the argument that that is like a union operation at the weld piece, but that's a tangent. So for purposes of getting the document done, using a union is fine, and making a sort of pseudo dimension is fine, but it's definitely not a permanent solution, which is fine with me. So to do this, I'm gonna make I'm gonna call this rdim, and I'm gonna change the name here to rdim, and I'm going to draw it as if it were 2D by ignoring the Z values, so it'll be as if it's in the X and Y plane. And I can just sort of draw I'm going to do it the manual brute force sort of way. I'm going to union a bunch of lines together is how it's going to be done initially. So what I can do with this one is, I know I don't need to bring it out 1, so in fact that can be 0 that way, and it can be, what, 5 on the Y? Something like that. This line here, actually what I do need to do is make it a function and pass it in the state, because I will need a few state variables. Let where is that state here? Yes, so what I can do is let plate R be r/cursor. How does that work again? r/cursor. Where am I at here? Let's paste that. Not scale, it will be plate radius. Okay, so now the plate radius is a value I can use inside these lines, which means, so this first line is going to be from 0 drawn vertically to 5. I think 5's good. This next one is going to start at plate R in the X direction, and that should be a good start. Let's see if I'm right. I'm wrong. Okay, perfect. I love it when things go wrong because it means we can make things go right pretty quickly. Okay, here's why. I have to now call this as a function and pass in the state. That's what's missing, I think. Hey, okay, it's one step in the right direction. Of course, the reason that's a problem is this is the wrong value here. This has to also be plate R. Turns out that 5 is too big, and also it's oriented 180 degrees opposite of what I wanted. So I'll fix that in a minute. 3.25. So this, the kind of editing I'm doing right now is like manual guess and check of, like, I'm just kind of assuming numbers and changing them and seeing how they go. This is kind of like the worst way to do programmatic CAD, because I'm just putting in numbers and changing them and looking at changes manually. I mean, it's a nice tight feedback loop because it changes quickly, but it's not a very intelligent approach. It's much more a reactive approach to design. In some cases that's fine, but it's generally not like using the power of programming and computers as to automate some of this stuff. So these are the areas where I try my best to notice how I could improve this over time by building better, more useful abstractions into the libraries I'm building. I don't have actual answers as to how I would do that yet, but like this is pretty clear. Like I'm literally drawing things one line at a time. There's almost certainly a case to be made where, okay, if I spend the time to make a proper dimension function that takes in a pointer to a shape or something like that, then it calculates itself automatically. That would be way better. So these are all areas for improvement over time. Marcel, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. How am I? I'm doing well. I just in Canada, it was a long weekend. We had Canadian Thanksgiving over the weekend, so it's a Tuesday for me, and it feels like a Monday. So so I've got that slow brain attitude going in, but I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Hope everything's good on your end. Okay, so let me see here. Can I do something? Mike, probably want to avoid over-engineering in the beginning with regards to auto-calculate stuff. Write a single bit of code that works, make it a method. That's how I like to go about it. Yeah, Mike, that's great advice. And in a sort of broad sense, that is kind of the approach I'm trying to take. Like, I'm building up a library, but it's not finished, and I'm using it to produce call it an artifact, like a design doc, before the library is totally done. And like these designs, like I actually take it to a shop and I actually build these things. So it's not as if they just go evaporate into the ether. They're real designs. So I'm kind of doing that same thing on a really high level. Is okay, I've got this much of the library, I've got this idea, this is how I executed, and it made a result. And then for some new design project, okay, what are the things that were great? What are the things that were totally tedious? And just kind of slowly build up those things over time. That's kind of the broad strokes idea I'm going for. But Mike, you're totally right that it's very risky to over-engineer things up front, right? Because present day me has no idea what future me is actually going to need anyway. So, you know, why spend so much time trying to guess it? Marcel, my day was pretty good, except you fell 2 times today. Oh no. Fell there 2 times. Have to go again? Oh, you got to get going? Sorry, I misunderstood for a second. Marcel, if you have to get going right now, that's cool. Thanks for tuning in, even for a little bit. I appreciate it. I hope you're not in pain or anything. Take care of yourself. Yeah, it's definitely good. Remy TV, have a random question. Can't find any resources online. Well, you can feel free to ask it here. I might be able to help you. I make no promises though, but go ahead and ask away. Ask away, my friend. All right, what am I doing here? What did I just do? I'm confusing myself right now. Okay, 3.25. All right, there we go. Oh, that's right. Well, here's what I was trying. I was going to see if I could do f/scale. I think. Hey, Remy TV, not sure if you're in the middle of typing something out, but if you have a question, you feel free to ask it, and I'll see if I can answer it, or maybe someone else in chat would know how to help you even better than I would. That's kind of the hope with the chat and stuff like that, is people can all help each other out. You don't know much about, absolutely dumb about anything coding. Well, it's not about dumb or not. It's about what you have experience with. But I digress. Is it possible to create an experience bar on a website or forum, like users would create a profile if they were doing tasks on some website, or on the website, sorry, that they could gain XP and level up? Yeah, so that would be. So this is the immediate thought in my head is it's absolutely possible, because there do exist like browser games that are like multiplayer and stuff like that, and they have methods of keeping track of state for players and stuff like that. So to take that concept and put it on a website would absolutely be possible. This reminds me of a website. This may be completely unrelated to what you have in your mind, but I don't use this, and I'm not affiliated with it in any way, by the way. But it's a website that it's basically like a habit tracker, to-do list kind of thing, but you log in with an account, and it tracks literally experience and stuff like that based on different things that you click and check off. So in this particular site, Habitica, the tracking is, it's basically, it's like, okay, if you generate a list, the user creates a list, and you click it and it marks it as complete, the experience is calculated for that user by checking, by running through all the things that have been checked off and awarding XP. But in a case like maybe you're imagining, it would be, I don't know what kind of tasks it would be, but it would, a user logs in, they see their experience bar, and then server side, I guess it would track, it would it would know the state of things done versus things undone and can award XP to the user as needed. It's hard to give anything specific, right? Of course, but oh, there you go. Mike's got a JavaScript example that you could start poking around with. Oh man, I love it when people can help each other out. So the real short, technically correct answer to the question is yes, you can do it. But yes, and walking away is not a particularly helpful example. So I would check into a JS progress bar. Yeah, there's all kinds of different approaches you can take. For a real world thing that kind of is what you want, this is the thing that came to my mind, Habitica. Might be fun to poke around with that. And Mike's got an actual code example, I think, linked there. So hopefully that's a reasonable starting point there for you, Remy. Remy, I'm not sure how to pronounce your username. Much more productive than last 30 minutes of Google searching. Hey, glad we could help you out. Hey, you gave me a follow too. Thanks, I appreciate that. I do appreciate it very much. I'm trying to think if there are any other keywords that you could keep in mind if you need to or want to do more searching on your own. What's a good... Yeah, progress bar. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, Remy, that is a good sort of seed for further investigation for what you need. But don't be shy, you or anyone else who's tuned in to ask questions. I can never guarantee that I provide anyway, useful answers, but it's always fun to give it a shot, you know? Yeah, depending on the framework, you could do React progress bar, Clojure progress bar. That's a good point. Vue.js progress bar. I wonder if that's a thing. Vue progress bar. I usually, when I hear the word progress bar, I usually think of like your download is 50% complete kind of thing. But anyway, it's always yeah, like you say, these are great jumping off points. Glad to help. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that too. It's always nice. Always nice to talk with people in chat, you know? I do love it. Okay. The thing I was doing, I've forgotten. Oh yes, right here. This here, I was gonna see if I could do a little trick here. If I could just flip. The answer appears to be no, and that might just be because I don't even remember how my own functions work. Yeah, I don't. I have the argument order backwards. Okay. All right. Okay, so this R is in the wrong spot for this drawing, but before I worry about that, let me see. Ooh, weird. Why is that happening? I love it, but it's wrong. Ooh. This is fascinating. Why is it doing that? It should be, let's inspect this, have a look here. Okay, let's see here. Does anyone else, when they're like thinking or trying to figure something out that they don't understand, does anyone else make just ridiculous noises? I do that all the time. I don't know if it's a good, like, I think it's weird and maybe a bad habit, but it helps me think. That's the excuse I'm going with. I'm wasting time by clicking those manually. Okay, this one I think. Okay. Why would it do that? Make up my own theme songs? Pretty safe on the normal scale. Oh man, that sounds pretty awesome, to be honest. Theme songs? I dig it. I'm into it. All right. I'm gonna get myself some more coffee. It'll be I'm ashamed to admit that I don't have a be right back screen designed yet. It's actually in progress, but it's not complete. So I'll just have to stick to the be right back. Your theme songs is really bad. Your wife constantly asks me if everything is okay. You have to just come up with a like in the movies, you know, there's different like motifs, leitmotifs or whatever they're called, you know, different themes going on. Like there's the ominous soundtrack, and then there's the happy protagonist is winning soundtrack. You just you just got to let her know, you know, okay, when I'm playing with the minor notes, that's when you should be concerned. Otherwise it's totally fine. You gotta go full on into, you know, music theory when you're making your own theme songs. Oh boy, just have fun with it, you know. Embrace the crazy a little bit, right? It's all good. Okay, I am gonna be right back, and soon I'll have a proper screen for that, but it is not today. Okay, I wonder what happens or what this line looks like if I project it into the isometric way here. Yeah, okay, so oh wait, no, that's not, Yeah. When it's exactly 3, it just... Anytime it's an integer number, it goes crazy. That might be related to things aren't cast to float when they should be. Ooh, I don't know, but I don't like it. Okay. What if I cheat? What if I cheat? Will that force it to be a float? Well, no, that didn't solve that. Okay, so lazy brain isn't working yet. Okay, yeah, no. Well, shoot. I was hoping for a nice, easy. I was hoping for things to be nice and easy for me, but it's not the case yet. Okay, so perhaps I can do a little zip over here and just wrap this in a float, and maybe that'll fix that. If not, it might be related to some assumptions I have built into the curve rendering setup. But that's still not fixed. Okay, also front transform, we'll go there. Man, things went sideways quick for me today. I mean, it shouldn't be surprising, but I'm surprised with how quickly it did happen. I wonder, for a moment here, if I do this, if I set the default radius as 3, things actually render fine. Oh, and then they go wrong again then. So what? Okay, let's see. Maybe if I go into this input here, right, this slider does a reset value, right, which will be the state value that's passed in, and it resets it with .target.value. Okay, so what if I do I think if I wrap it like this, float, I think that might solve my problem, but I have to refresh this a little bit to see. Oh boy. What? Okay, no such namespace F. That's true. Okay, fair enough. That's something I didn't notice. That'll be here. Oh, you know what? That is actually, so that's in the scratch spot here. That looks like, okay, that's in the mouse handler stuff, which is all, it all needs to change anyway. So what's the right way to approach this? If I go to the depths here, yeah, okay. Well, let me just, I know I'm not using it, so I'll just ignore it for now. Laziness wins today. And it doesn't seem to solve the problem anyway. Let's just double check that that is or is not true. Let's force a change here. Wow, okay, so I thought I understood why that was going strange, but I clearly don't understand why that is yet. So it's something to Another problem I have is the length of this line is hard-coded at the moment, but it stops being, like, I kind of want the length of it to be implicit, or sorry, to be dependent on the R as well, so that it's offset from this, so that it doesn't clip through this shape here. I have a new idea that will just make things much easier for me, and that is going to be to just skip this part entirely. Get rid of this. Keep the R on there for now. Get rid of this union. Get rid of this shape back here. I do believe that's gone. Okay, that looks good. Okay, rendering fine. Okay, and now here I create SVG / color of SVG / line with the point 0, 0 and the point at plate R 0, and the color it's going to be is takes the style first, so color blue. Did I break it? I broke it. That's fine. That goes like that. Okay, so that is a line clearly differentiated from the rest of them, and it does correctly scale with the radius here. Now the only thing left to do is also kind of bundle this radius into that whole thing. I do believe I can do something kind of like this. If instead of, let's do, okay, whoops, group this stuff together. Oop. Yeah, and then here we do svg/color blue, which applies to the group, and close the color there. Oh, not quite. Almost had it. Unless that is colored and I just can't tell. No, this doesn't have its own color. Well, okay, let's have a look. Oops. Okay, here, text, element, fill. Ooh. Ah, okay. So let me do style element here, and I'll just kind of manually build it here. Stroke, blue, fill should also be blue, and that, I think that'll fix that particular issue. No, not quite. Style element. Okay, it takes a style map. Okay, props. Okay. Well, Okay. Well, we're kind of on the, okay, so we're on the right track. There's a style priority issue here that I didn't realize existed. Everything is just that little bit harder than I originally thought it would be. It's okay. It's all good. It's all part of the game. I wonder if I could sneak a little important in there. It does not do it. It will not do it. Oh, I know. Okay. This is unnecessary here. I do believe the precedence, I do believe if any element inside a group tag has its own style rules, those take precedence over the style in the group. Maybe. And I think that is the case because the line element here by default doesn't have anything applied to it, and so applying the group element thing to it will nicely apply style to everything else. I think that's what's going on, but I don't know for sure. What I am going to do is just fill blue here. No, even that's not working the way I want it to. Okay. Fill blue. Will it work? Maybe. Oh boy. Maybe I'm just missing something simpler than that. Okay, so text fill blue is on the element here. Yeah, okay, it works. Text has its own. Okay, does line have its own fill rule? It does not. Okay. I can do this. Go into the CSS, find the text spot here, comment out the fill. What's a CSS comment? No. No. Boy, I don't know what a CSS comment is. Oh, is there only the one approach? They must be wrapped? Oh, I guess so. I was looking to be lazy. See, I know, like, I saw this here. I thought it was like, I thought there would be multi-line and single-line comments, but incorrect. Thanks for the help. Oh. Is that... I'm not sure I'm happy with that as a solution. Let me... I'm going to do it anyway, though. Oh, something went wrong here. Wrong number of arguments. That's because this tag is wrong. The group tag now contains the line as well. Okay, this should... Oh, no. I goofed it. So, now, this does indeed not have any style applied to it at all. Oh, right. Stroke, fill, blue. Okay, there we go. Good. I'm calling this good. Okay, now let's just bump the R into a reasonable spot, and then we'll manipulate it. We'll make it dependent on the R value once it's in a good position. And we'll do it by translating it. We'll hard code one translate, and then we'll do another translate with the G, with the plate radius, so that it moves and is a little more readable, perhaps. Okay, so let's start by moving it in the X direction. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, that's looking okay. So it's going to be 3.5 maybe. 3.75. 2.5 is what I meant. 3.75 is what I meant. Beautiful. Thing of beauty. Okay, so we're close there. It's 3.75. Okay, that looks as if someone did it intentionally. Perfect. Now, I think if I do this, an additional translate along wait a second. Why do it that way? Let's just put it all in one, make it clear. Clearish, that. Well, first of all, if I make it 0, where does it end up? Way over there. Okay. Oh, of course, I did this in a silly way again. What I actually need is it to be the number negative 4.5, which is like kind of its center offset, plus half. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're in the money. Kinda. Well, let's see if, yeah, okay, see that's pretty good, right? I think that's acceptable. You know, for needing to get this done today, not having the time to do everything totally the way I want, I would say that's pretty reasonable. It's moving all according to what it, pardon me, what it needs to move according to. It's clear that it's different. I'm happy with that. Looks really good. Hey, thanks. That's good to know. That is good to know. Okay, so plate front, I'm happy with for the time being. Now, actually, I do. Okay, now let's go ahead and make a handle. Let's change this to the handle front view as well. Okay, the front view of the handle. I actually do want to change the order of these. It doesn't matter in the code here which one I define first. They're independent of each other, so they can be in any order. But for the user reading through the document, I want them to be able to adjust the handle dimensions first, and then adjust the hex plate dimensions, and then see the result in the isometric of the whole thing. I think that's a reasonable, like, user read approach. And in fact, what would be cool is probably if I have the handle and the plate in a flex group or whatever it's called, kind of all lined up horizontally. At least that'll look good on the desktop. I'm not going to worry about mobile for this one because that does matter a little bit though, but I'll keep my focus on this for the day. Just the desktop experience. Okay, so front view of handle. That means this figure is figure 2, front view of hex plate. There. And now if I go to the dock, and handle front is what it is. Let me let's cut that. Gotta put it at the very front here. Handle front state, plate front state parameters. All right, we've got something. I have to adjust how that all looks, but that's perfect. I can go, I may as well, I'll just comment the plate out of there to keep things so I can access it all in one go, no problem. Front view of hex plate, front view of handle. Okay, here we are. We've got, let's see what this front thing looks like. Yeah, so I actually do want, I want a front view and I want another thing that's actually a right view. Theoretically, I could make these functions a little less copy and paste, but this will work fine in a pinch. Here's another thing that eventually would be nice. This 3 here in front of the, I have this is just kind of a little helper sort of thing. It's called a figure. It's just a function that just wraps SVG in a div and creates the little label here, and I just manually pass it the figure number and the figure description. It would be nice if there would be some kind of document preprocessor that like runs over the doc and automatically numbers the figures for me. That way you don't run into the issue of like documents. Very often you'll put a bunch of stuff in and you'll find as you're editing that you want to restructure the document by shuffling things around, which is fine. But if you define things as figure 1, 2, 3, but you invert 3 and 2, it's really nice if you don't have to worry at all about numbering. So that's an example of a thing that I would consider to be a reasonable automation to build into the library at some point. The nice thing is for smaller documents where you only have a few figures, it's really easy to do it manually. Like it's not like I have to remember that I've got 50 figures and I've adjusted section 3 to section 2, so now 5 figures are all jumbled around, and it's really straightforward when I only have 4 to 5 figures. So not a big deal, but an obvious thing that would be nice to change, right? Okay, I think I do have a right transform function, maybe. I was wrong. That's not a big deal though. I can head over to the shape part of this here and have a look at scene rotations. Right here, the transform functions that these are, they're extremely easy. It's just a matter of creating the proper rotation. Oh boy. Okay, so rotate, to get a right view, you rotate 90 degrees around Z. Should be simple enough. This should now work. I have to just make sure the state ends up. Okay, handle right, handle front, perfect. If I go and swap this here, handle front with the word handle right, it should work. I just got to refresh that maybe. Right, what, oh, I've lost the mental image here of what what's the default orientation of the handle? Okay, so it is the correct view. Right transform does correctly, as far as I know, rotate about Z to get a right view, but it looks the same. No, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay. My naming is imprecise, unfortunately. What I'm calling the front view is actually intuitively, boy, okay. This is a big note to self here. I'm gonna write in here, scene rotations, note to self. Make sure naming convention actually matches what you are doing in designs. For example, front transform apparently is actually a top view. This stems from being imprecise about which axes define a front plane. In the isometric transform, I treat Z as up, but the front transform assumes the XY plane is front. Thus, it is actually a top view when paired with isometric views. This is bad. Okay. On that note, I'll just change this to top for now and go over here. Top. Right view, which this, what I'm gonna do something a little goofy on this one, but I'll get there in a moment. Let's make sure that plate front is also using the proper transform here. Top. Really, I should write an actual like full document note about the decision of how, like, if my scene is always going to be Y up by default or Z up, or if it's a configurable option. I have to figure that out, and then make a decision, and then document it, and then make sure I'm actually consistent with myself. That's a bit of a theme as I make these code prototypes more refined and more useful to myself. I do notice I'm a little bit inconsistent with myself, which is not it's not helpful. So that has to, when I get to like an actual release beyond just prototyping, that consistency issue will have to be resolved in writing good documentation and then following it myself. So something to keep in mind. It comes up too with the order that I do arguments and stuff like that. I sometimes will do the object that I'm transforming will be first, sometimes it'll be last, and I just mix it up, and that's just not helpful. Like it doesn't matter which way it's done, but if I do both kind of at random, that's totally confusing, even for myself, right? Like there's no reason to do it that way. So those are things that I really have to fix up with a sort of a fine-tooth comb. But that's one reason I like streaming and doing these little projects as I go, is you really do notice the things that are pain points in your own code, and that's helpful knowledge. Okay, I'm going to assume the front view's done. Handle right. This is what I need to mix up. I just need to rotate this particular piece. I think this should do it. That's not true, is it? Shouldn't be true. Let's try this. Didn't I save this? Oh, I guess I didn't. That's my bad. Okay. Perfect. Kind of. Right, so I can translate this as well by doing this. Let's split this just so things don't bump around. Okay, let's translate it. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong axis. Ooh, wait a second. That's not gonna be good enough. This actually doesn't make any sense. If I'm treating top transform as some default like this, with X horizontal and Y vertical, all I've done here is just spin that situation around. That's not at all what I actually want to do. What I actually want is if I've got X, Y, I'm treating that as a top view. I want the right view to be, I actually want to translate 90 about X, I think. Let's give that a shot. We'll rotate 0, 0 here. Save this. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Isometric. Okay. Right. Okay, we're on to something here. And now this, we can still translate this. We can still rotate the thing. We can translate it by this here, handle right. We can keep the scale the way it is, and we don't do plate radius. We actually can take handle length, I think, is a part of the state here. Grip width. Ah, no, handle length is a calculated value. Shoot. It's a little bit tedious. Think about that in a second. Be right back. There we go. Okay. I am back in business. Okay, so the right transform, if I just rotate the x by 90, does that actually make sense for what I want? I realize I kind of need to draw this out for myself. Okay, x, y, z. If I treat the top view, oh wait a second, what's, yeah, no, that's right. I think that's right, more or less. That's good. Anyway, front view of this handle. I want to flip it kind of sideways like that. And that's the wrong axis. I meant this one. Should turn it sideways. No. I am editing the wrong one. This is the one. Grip width. Plate R. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, this text is wrong anyway. What can I call it? It's a calculated value, so I'm just going to call it L is going to be the whole length of the tube. There's actually two values I need to kind of show here. The full length of the tube so that you can cut it, and also the grip width of the tube, which is something the user can specify, or I kind of want to expose that as an option. I'm also realizing this is just crazy wrong in terms of let's get that front view as a reference here. If I copy this, then I can use this as a starting point. Okay, blue, fill blue. This is the text L, and that's the translate. Okay, that hopefully, oh yeah, right, of course. So this is wrong, but I can just substitute that in for the grip width value for now. What happened? Oh, I must have, oh, did I cut off the actual stuff I need here? I did, like a goose. Things get a little messy sometimes, that's okay. Grip width and grip, oop, grip width. Okay, alright, now we're back in sanity land. Length. Alright, so using that as a starting point, I can now shift my thinking for a moment into this territory, which should have me rotating that Y Oh, I actually forgot to deref those. Wait, does that mean I did it wrong here too? Nope, it just means I did it wrong in one spot. That's fine. Okay, all right, we're getting on track. So, what I kind of want to do is just sort of shunt this whole thing over in the 2D. If I do svg/translate this whole thing by -10. Oh, that's gonna break. Yes, of course, need to close it. Oh, it didn't do what I thought it would. Okay, that's not a big deal. Okay, it's a scale related thing, but that's fine. All I've done here is just there's sort of, it's a little confusing, but there's a sort of 3D context and a 2D context kind of intermingled here. The 2D stuff is all happening in from the SVG namespace, and they're working on basically the coordinates in the viewport of the SVG. They move things like tags and lines around in the 2D stuff. The 3D stuff is all from the Forge namespace, and that's moving the actual 3D object before it's like projected onto the 2D. Like that happens all before you render anything. You could kind of think of it that way. It's a little confusing because it's the same terminology. It's just the only difference is, well, two things. Is there's you translate in X, Y, and Z when you're using the Forge namespace, and only X and Y when you're in SVG. So you can kind of tell from that, but explicitly there's the namespace here. SVG stuff is all 2D, F stuff, Forge stuff is all 3D. And I think that's okay. Basically, the only spots in which you'll see the 2D and 3D kind of mixed together is in the view-related stuff, which is sort of a thing that you build later on. So I'm reasonably comfortable with that as a bit of a learning curve, but is it a perfect split? Maybe not. But it does let me still draw things out the way I kind of want, so that's good. Okay, so this L value has its center point roughly figured out here, except that this can be, say, 3. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. And I can actually, it looks like it can move a little bit over here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so L is going to be some value that is currently not, it's not shown here, so I'll have to show it somewhere. And grip width is also, I have to, okay, well, I can kind of just copy this. So label it G, and we'll move it down. Right, it has to be 6.75-ish. It's a little too low. 375.25. It's pretty good, but it's gonna shift around here. Grip width. It's gone. It's long gone. Okay. Oh, I wonder, times 2. Ah, okay. Times 3, does that... Ah, okay. Something is horribly, horribly wrong here. Yeah, I did something wrong. Well, okay, something for later. Grip width, that is 5, that's 10 characters. Yeah. Okay, if I do times 15, that should... Oh, no. Wrong again. Okay. Oops. Yeah. This is... that's not smart to do it that way. I should just have an additional kind of hard-coded offset here, right? Yeah. So this is messy. I don't love it, but it solves the problem for today. Right, so all those things considered, I can now go ahead and do, if I have a look at the front plate here, I have the line inside this group here, so that can be copied here. If I go have a look at this, oh, there is a line here already. What did I do? Okay, let's see. It starts at 0, 0. Can I start it at 1? Oh, it is there. I do need to move it upward to the L there instead. So I'm just going to do -1. Oh yeah, right. So it's also going to be, it's currently incorrect because, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the length of the handle is dependent on a few different things, and you can see this changing here, but the grip width is a static value. Like, it only changes if the user slides a slider to adjust the grip width. So using grip width here is not sufficient. I do need to run an actual calculation. But I'm going to finish stubbing these things into place. And what I realize is actually I do want this kind of copied, pasted. Okay, this first one can nicely be L without the grip width mess in there. Cut that. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think that's fine. This second one here, I don't need this. I just need grip width and then another line, kind of like that. And that should be a good starting point. Okay, we're doing okay there. So this one I'll do stroke red, fill red, and now grip width should change to red. Perfect. Okay. Things are coming along okay. So grip width is going to be static. Now the issue right now is it's in the wrong position because the grip width is actually centered along the whole length of that piece. So I have to go remember where the handle width and all that stuff comes from. But for a moment, what I want to do is now make the front view of handle. Okay, so that's the right view for now. Let's focus in on the front view again for a moment. Make sure things are looking approximately correct. So we can put that here. Handle dash front, give it the state. Okay. Oh yeah, the right view's down here. So what I can actually do with this is put these in a div where the div has something about it that I'd forget for a minute. This div here, this one, it can be flex. I don't remember how flexbox stuff works. Flex. No, that's not correct. What is it? Oh, maybe, oh, is it display flex? I forget. Display flex. There we go. That's the ticket. Okay, so I can do that by just doing here. Style display flex. I think that'll work. Yes. Awesome. Okay. That is, and that looks okay, right? Yeah, everything else is kind of falling in line there. Okay, so let's clean up this front view just a bit. Handle front. Here we are. This is gone. I don't need to run a rotate on it at all. Shouldn't need to. Alright, looking okay. Good, good. And now in this spot here, I can take this basis here, pastorino, and we have instead here handle radius and at handle R is the position. This line is also at handle radius 0 0 0. Okay. Woo. Spicy. And this text here, It's a little r, I guess, is fine, right? It's okay. Oops, went the wrong way. Actually, you know what? I do kind of think this would look a little better. Oh, wrong way. 4.5. 4.75. 4.625. Okay, and then just shoved a little more to the right. Oh, you know what? I don't even. I wonder if I don't divide it by 2. Let's do this. Okay, good. Almost there. 125. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. 65's fine. 65's fine. Okay, there. Good. So that's looking pretty good. Now, okay, I do need to add some controls here. The handle. Oh, before I do that, let's do another easy thing. The height of these view blocks don't need to be huge. Right now they're 250. Let's try just 80. It's a little too short. Let's go 100. That's pretty good. And then this can also be 100. Hey, nice. Why is that not centered in the... Oh, maybe it is. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Using that, I can probably make these a little shorter as well. Or this one, anyway. That's pretty sweet. I think that looks nice. As a starting point, that's pretty good. It'd be pretty cool to have, well, would it be cool? It might be useful, is a softer way to say things, maybe, to have a little style here, like drop shadow. I don't know how to do drop shadows, so I just use these as this is more than I need to care about right now. Code pen, that's probably got a copy pastable snippet. Okay, let's go with this card. Probably 3.card-3. Sure, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see if this will work. Just, oh, that's all wrong. There we go. Okay. Is this gonna work? Suppose not. Let's see. This one here has display flex. What did I do? Huh. Okay, that's not going to work, and it's also not a big deal. I shouldn't waste too much time doing this. It's just not worth it. Let's just try drop shadow. Shadow? Display? Boy oh boy, one day. Okay, drop shadow. Is that not? What am I missing here? Box shadow. Hey, if only I could read. Box shadow. There we go. It's a little clunky, but so this doesn't look good yet, but as a concept it might be a good way to sort of delineate. It might be a good idea to have something like that. But for right now, we're gonna just throw it away. There is a problem where the diagram cuts off. I could make the SVG's viewport width dependent on the length. Not right now. For later. Okay. All a little bit of a waste of time while I think about the next step. I don't have a ton of time left. I think probably I'm going to go, let's say, another half hour, and that'll be it for me for the day after that. So what I can do in the meantime, I can actually prep the no such thing as a waste of time, it's a learning experience. Yeah, I guess so. I'll take it. I guess maybe it's a diversion. I'm letting myself distract myself with little make work things before I make real progress on this. So, but fair enough. A little bit of a learning experience. Yeah. See, one goal of these design documents is that over time I come up with a style that is that doesn't get in the way of showing the technical side of the designs, but also happens to look quote unquote beautiful for some definition of beautiful. You know, like I want reasonable typesetting, I want decent readable fonts, I want nice looking colors and that sort of stuff. So keeping an eye out for things like if box shadow actually looks good or not is not a total, it's like you say, it is a learning experience. So I'll take it. Okay. Parameters, adding sliders. That's the next thing I want to do. So what I want to expose as options here are the tube radius. Oh, and I haven't put it here, but the tube thickness is also a controllable parameter. So to do this, I'm gonna make def and handle parameters state. Using these little bits of logic here, I can take, let's copy this, paste there. Okay, so this div will have a few sliders available to it. The handle sliders that I do want to allow will be grip width handle R and handle T. And that is everything. So I just have to set up the cursors, r/cursor, state, grip width, copy that, grip width, handle radius, handle thickness, and now in this spot here we can use the slider UI component to adjust those values. Grip width, grip W, I should, oop, boy oh boy, okay, at grip W. Okay, so the default value is stored in the state itself, so I don't have to worry about that. I want the step size for the grip width to be a 1/4 inch, the minimum grip width to be 4 inches, and the maximum to be 12. I think that's kind of reasonable. Grip width. Handle radius. Handle R. Here we want the minimum, it's going to be 1 inch, and the maximum is going to be 2.5. Step size. See, this is a little bit of an issue because I know that the grip width size I anticipate is actually 1.31 inches. It's like a weird dimension because it's actually a piece of pipe which uses like schedule and has just a ridiculous nonsensical approach to tube sizing, so you end up with weird just weird sizes. So in order to achieve that potential size, the step size has to be some multiple of that, so it's messy. I also don't, so maybe this doesn't make sense, but it's a starting point. And then now this one, handle thickness, handle T. The thinnest 0.065, and the thickest is 1/4 inch, is way more than you need. And we'll make the step size 0.005. Again, a little, you know, the ergonomics of using a slider to handle that, it's not perfect, but it will do for this document. I think we'll be fine. So handle parameters. What did I miss here? Grip width. Oh. Grip width. Okay, that looks okay. So let's go down to the dock here. And right here, right after this div, I can do handle oops. handle parameters. Handle parameters, pass it the state, and I should, let me hide this. Okay. Zoom and rotate. Zoom does affect it. Rotate should not. Okay. Grip width. Yes, kind of. We're... Ooh, that's a problem. Something's wrong with that. Though the red and blue lines are, as I would expect, are working. The handle is bugging out though, so that's not good. But okay, we'll begin to solve that as we go. That's cool. The handle thickness is working nicely. That's satisfying. That looks, oh, I love that. That's great. And now the handle radius bugs out as well. Okay, fine, fine. I can deal with that. These are solvable problems, I promise, somehow. Oh man, that's... stuff's going weird. I'll say that. Why would that be? It kinda... Yeah, okay, this needs a bit of work. Good to know. But, okay, not a big deal. I can work with it. While I'm... let's finish building the flow of the document. So, I have split out parameters exclusive to the handle. I think actually it makes a little bit more sense to have it above like this. And in fact, I'm going to make a little thing here. If I do, no, do I want to do it this way? Markdown. Okay. Handle configuration. And then here, set the parameters for the handle. Set the parameters according to the tube size you will be using for the handle part. Okay. Ooh, I broke it. All right, let's have a look here. What did I do wrong? Markdown should work, I thought. Okay. Right, it is in fact related to my parsing problem with Markdown. This should maybe fix it. It did not. Let's see. If I make it just one string, let's try that. Huh. Okay, well, that's not, it's clearly no good. Okay. Set this like that. Maybe that'll fix it. No. Alright. Does that do it? Okay, the title works, and now the next thing, does this work? Kinda. What did I do? Okay, all right, there we go. We're getting something. Okay, so this, I believe this will break it. Yes, okay, and this should fix it. It's related to the fact that my parser is not very good yet at discerning the end of a paragraph until it has a new line in it. So that's a little messy. But I can still call that, you know what, it probably is good semantic, like to the semantics of the document to have these sort of things marked as sections. It should make no visible difference. Good. Okay, so that's the handle configuration. Now, let's also hide the view controls for the time being. So we're just building up the bare bones for each section as I need it. Okay. Now there's a new section, handle configuration, hex plate configuration. Set the parameters according to the flat sheet you will be using for to make the plates. There, that's a valid sentence. And here we do plate parameters, which I haven't made yet, but that's okay. And I can do plate front, and I have no need to do another view. And I can now zip on up here to handle parameters, plate parameters. It's a function taking the state, and copy this whole thing as a starting point. Okay, so the plate parameters will only use the plate thickness and the plate radius, and that is all. Plate R, plate T. I guess technically I do need a side view of the plate to indicate the thickness change, but I'm going to ignore it for now. So this one we get rid of. This one, plate R, plate, plate R, and this one is plate thickness, plate T. Okay, so the plate thickness will have a similar limit to the thickness of the tube, and the plate radius will make the smallest 2 and the largest 16, which is definitely overkill, and a 1/4 inch step size, 1/8 inch step size. That should be enough to render things. Plate T. Okay. Plate thickness, plate radius. All right, we are cooking. So this is obviously a problem. Things go all wonky. right? Even here it's rendering wrong, so I have to think about that. Be right back though. Okay, I have to go soon, but I want to also, well, first of all, let's refresh this so it's not all bugged out. Things look reasonably okay here. There's some things that goof up, but you know what? It's just adding to the charm a little bit for now. Since it might actually be pretty quick to do, maybe I will do a plate front and plate right view. Let me see what this looks like first of all. Oops. Yeah, okay, so this I could rotate. Wait a second. Let me not do this wrong. So we've got there that here I've got a div flex plate front and plate right state. Okay, so I can see both. Oh right, that's my bad. The plate front view, parameter view. Okay. Almost done for the day, almost done. Okay, plate right, right transform, top. Consistency. Okay, we're almost. Plate R changes, plate T. Yeah, so that works. As in the thickness of that correctly changes. This here, plate right T. But let's also rotate about the y-axis, I think, by 90. That should flip it. And we're good there. Perfect. T now has a strange looking line there that we don't need. Let's just get rid of it. No, for right now I'm leaving it because I might want to use it tonight when I fix all this stuff up. 1/4 inch thick. Yeah, okay. Radius. So the only thing that's, one thing that's going really wonky is this. This radius totally goofs up. Things go all wrong. I think it accidentally is like inverting itself, so it's not rendering correctly anymore, and you have a problem here. No good. So that's stuff to work on. Final thing before I leave. This should be 4. Right view of hex plate. Okay, final thing I want to do is zip on down here, get rid of this, undo this, parameters, take a state argument, which parameter view, state, wonder, that might be a good thing for me. Okay, and here is the final rendered view. Ah yes, plate thickness, ruining things again. Let's see if it breaks it here. Yes, it does. Okay. So there is something, there is a bug that totally ruins the render when I adjust the plate thickness value in any, this slider and this slider both point to it, so maybe that's part of the issue. I'm not sure. But this is the slider that makes the biggest difference. Or it's the cool one. These two here, the plate radius and the desired mass, change the design to hit close to the real, to get the true mass close to the desired mass. And it should give you, like, it calculates for you the plate size. So the R here, 3.5. It theoretically will adjust the number of plates based on the plate thickness, but there's a bug, and it does tell you the number of plates here, and it adjusts the length of the grip, which is incorrectly being displayed here, which I need to fix. But all the pieces are in place. It's just a matter of getting the logic double checked and the bugs ironed out. But this is the flow I want to have, really, is the grip. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Oh, that also breaks it. Okay, so there's work to be done, to say the least. So these are all things I'm going to have to do off stream. I'm running out of time. I think it's about time for me to head to the gym, you know, get some fitness in. Okay. Everything breaks. Everything breaks. Well, okay. So, the pieces are in place. The kind of structure of the document is pretty much in place. A few bugs to fix, a few visual changes to make, but I'm happy with the idea, and the overall appearance is really nice. I want to make things faster if I can. I want to make things a little more intuitive if I can, but on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with this. I am quite happy with it. So this here, right, got to change that so it doesn't cut things off. Probably want to unlink the zoom of these, so I only need to zoom and rotate this, not all of these, and maybe have a print to PDF thing or something like that. I have to see. But this is a great, I think I can finish this tonight, which is what I need to do, so I'm really happy with that. That will be me signing out for the day, though. I'm gonna call it for the day. All right. Catch you on the next stream then. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in again, Mike. I always appreciate that. Thanks for engaging in the chat. That's always really, really awesome. It makes my day, you know, just that little bit more enjoyable. You know, it's great. So thanks. All right. Have a good one. Good luck with any more feature work that you've got to do, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next stream. All right, that should be Thursday that I'm doing that. If I'm feeling into it, I might sneak a stream in tomorrow, but that's not a promise. It's just a thought. So, all right, I'm on my way out. Have a good one.